We were happy this week because finally, after 8 episodes, we got the finality of the Peacemaker. And yeah, the Peacemaker season one has come to an end. It was a incredible episode, and there's a lot of surprises and cameos and all kinds of various things. And T, I know that you have some comments about it that you're gonna let, but I'm just gonna read something real quick. This is an article. Let me get up to this. The Outer Haven. This is from the Outer Haven. Peacemaker season one review. James Gunn unleashed. And I think that's a perfect way to kind of talk about this season of the Peacemaker. Is that James Gunn was just like unleashed. He was just doing whatever he wanted, you know. And if you read through this article, I definitely recommend it for anybody that wants to get a little bit deeper look at it. But it starts off with, you know, you can see here the Peacemaker opening, you know, the opening credits, and that kind of set the tone, right, for what we got for 8 episodes. So there will be some spoilers in this talk because we are going to talk about not only the ending of season one, but the episodes coming forward. Season two was greenlit, so we are looking forward to that. T, give me your impressions of the Peacemaker season one finale and just season one as a recap. What did you think?
Which one would you like me to start with? The
Either one.
finale?
You can
And
start with the finale. You
uh,
can start with the you can start with season two, wherever you want to begin. Go ahead.
I think the season one finale was fine. I think it was great. Here's a prime example of a great show
Mm-hmm.
that is they're they're doing a little bit of virtue signaling, but the story's so good and intriguing that you don't. It's subtle, and there are some moments when I do feel like they're trying to force an agenda in, but they course correct really quick. It's
Okay.
not anything long enough to make an impact as a viewer, and as you know, just being someone who's opinionated.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think the season finale was awesome, man. You got more than what you thought, and I think the surprise they put in wasn't even necessarily needed. It was just it was just added layer on. It was dessert. Hey, if you're hungry, eat this. But
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What do we always say,
it
T?
wasn't needed.
What do we always say? Give him the what?
Give them the pickle. Just give them the pickle.
Yeah.
Just give them the pickle.
And
And
then
this is a prime example, and you'll probably see this throughout this video. It'll be a good example of here's what happens when you give them the pickle. You
exactly.
got a satisfied customer, and they're gonna return. You
Yep.
know, it's I don't the good times are great. But if you give me bad, I'm going to remember the bad experience because I have an expectation for you to deliver every time. So you
Absolutely.
make that promise as a business or as an entity that you're going to deliver on something. And when you don't, it makes things very difficult for me to trust you because I'm putting my hard-earned money. I'm investing in you, and you're not able to perform in a healthy state of mind. You have all the resources you need to be successful, and yet you aren't. I think that the movies I think that this was definitely not garbage at all. This is not basura. This is not. This is a great series,
Oh yeah.
intriguing characters, so many little light bulb moments going on, and just very, very good. Just very in tune with itself. You know, doesn't forget that it is a TV series. Doesn't forget that it's a comedy. Doesn't. I mean, just the mental awareness in this show.
Oh my
When you got
God.
somebody
Yeah.
battling with something, you're like, whoa, you've got real life scenarios that are
Right.
going on in an episode that make you say, man, wait a minute here. There's a moment in the last episode where a man divulges what's going on with him, and you
Yep.
empathize with him as an audience to say, man, you
Remember, I
didn't
told you
you
that's one
didn't
of the
have to
strengths of James Gunn. That is one of his strengths, is he understands empathy, and he really gets the audience to kind of get pulled in for each individual character. Doesn't matter how bad the character is. Doesn't matter if the character is a tree, a starfish. Doesn't matter. He pulls you in and he makes you care. You know, you got an eagle. People are saying. I read comments. People are crying about an eagle that got hurt. It's like this eagle. Oh my God! This, and then because they they've made this Eagle an important character, something that you can relate with, and that's the beautiful that's the beautiful thing about it. I want to read this part here. Um, it says much of season one is about him learning to cope with not just his past, but with his dad, what people think about him, and even his very definition of peace. We learn that there's a lot more going on with here, and Cena, to the shock of many, I'm sure, will make you feel for him in many ways by the time it's all done. You're just talking about what you just said, is that this is a show that you actually care about the characters, you care about what's happening. It's not just special effects, it's not just jokes and comedy, but there's like real emotional weight to a lot of the episodes, or a lot of the things that are going into the episodes. Even the villains, they have some emotional depth to them. So let's get into spoilers, because I want to talk about that cameo at the end. You got the Justice League showing up. Oh my God. I don't think that I was expecting that. I wasn't blown away. Like, I was like, well, I'm not that kind of guy. But I wasn't expecting that. Like, I was just going through it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, we going there then. Because at first I thought it was just gonna be the silhouettes, and that's that. Okay, yeah, we got an Aquaman silhouette, Flash, Wonder Woman, and Superman. But then he walks past, and I'm like, all right, maybe that's Jason Momoa, but it probably is just a guy. And no, that's Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and there go Ezra Miller as the Flash. Um, they went there, and then they dropped again another classic Peacemaker joke, which was hilarious. I laughed at the joke. I thought that was great. And it kind of opens the door for stuff with the DC film universe. When you sit back and think about it, it's like, okay, if this is what we're doing, and if James Gunn's getting given the green light, like, this article is really just talking about, they gave him the green light to do whatever he wants to do. What are you expecting now, going into season two?
I'm expecting a bigger budget. I'm expecting
Mm,
good writing.
yeah.
I mean, he wrote an excellent. Come on, let's just be honest here. I mean, even the part where in the show, you didn't even notice in the beginning that Adebayo was saying, "Hey, mom, call the Justice League," and then they show up at the end. The
Yeah.
story is so good that you don't even recognize. You're like, "Whoa, I mean, that's a good story. You know, when comedians go up and they just tell comedy, and they tell something at the beginning of the show and then they tell it at the end, and you forget, holy crap, that person just dialed it back in. That's good storytelling.
Great
That I
storytelling.
totally forgot that you said something that was relevant to me. Look, season two, I expect to be better than season one, even if it's not. They've already accomplished more than they were supposed to. This thing
Right.
came out of nowhere,
Yep.
and it was a great show. I mean,
Yep.
it was a great show. I only didn't like only one episode. I think it was episode four. I didn't like, but the
Okay.
rest of them, they were great. They were great episodes. They were directed well. You know, they had variations in them. They were just great. I mean, this is a show that needed to be at least 13 episodes.
Oh
It's
man, it
it
would have
it
been. I
look
think that the reason that they didn't go to the full 13, or at least make it longer, is because James Gunn kept it really tight. He didn't have to go very long to get this, to tell this story about the butterflies, to set up the Peacemaker, the issues with the White Dragon, his father, and now moving into season two. I like the tightness of an 8 episode season, especially when and each episode was a good length too, right? Like 40 to 50 minutes. It's not none of this stuff like sometimes, with these series, you get like a 28-minute episode or a 32-minute episode. Like, no, full episodes. This was a good
Yeah, with football
a
about
good
40
amount
something
of
minutes. I wish they
storytelling.
would have done long. I wish they would have been a little longer.
Okay.
Sometimes scenes dragged on that probably shouldn't have, but
Okay.
I nonetheless I like the series. I like everything they were trying to accomplish here. I think it's important to like make sure everybody knows that this is a good show. This
Yeah.
was not a bad show at all.
No,
I'm
DC
interested to
knocked it
see
out of the
more.
park, man.
Totally knocked out of the park, and I
Yep.
look forward to what they have in the future. It's consistency with DC. That's all. It's all.
Yeah. That's all
That's
they
all it's
need.
ever been is
So I'm
consistency
a
and leadership.
so I'm gonna bring up a couple of what I'm looking forward to in terms of season two, and this is gonna be just a real quick rundown. So for season two, First up, what's ahead? I got Ghost Dad coming in, and he's going to be a major impact. So, at the end, Peacemaker is sitting on the little porch next to his dad, and he's kind of sitting there thinking, man, what am I going to do? And his dad is right there next to him, giving him the business. And I think that's going to continue. That's going to be a major plot point because now that he's got, he's killed his dad, he's killed his father, but his father is still haunting him. His father is still there. And this isn't going to be as easy as, okay, in order to get rid of this, terrible father, I put a bullet in his head, it's done. No, 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 no. We got more here. Peacemaker is definitely going to have to deal with a lot of what's happened to him. He's already, he has the weight of killing his brother on his head. Now he's got the weight of killing his father. What does that do to him? How does that change up his situation? So that's going to be the first thing I'm looking forward to, seeing what they do with Ghost Dad, Robert Patrick coming back. I think that's going to be amazing. Second is Amanda Waller on a rampage. All right, T. So you saw this, that little press conference that hit. Amanda Waller got outed. Like, she got outed. She got put on notice. And what's gonna happen now? Can we do Suicide Squad movie? Can we have another Suicide Squad movie? Because, Adebayo just blasted her for everybody to hear. The whole world knows, like, hey, this is what she's been doing. So now it's a situation where, hey, what does Amanda Waller do? Can we bring her into this? What's her situation? Do you got any predictions?
I predict they'll probably do Project Cadmus,
Oh, okay.
season two. That would
Okay.
be nice to see what they're trying to do. They'll do Cadmus. They'll bring in more characters. I
Mm-hmm.
think that what they'll do is they'll go from being a Suicide Squad. You'll see probably the next movie or the next iteration be Task Force X.
Okay.
Just because they want to maybe separate themselves from the Suicide Squad. The name is kind of, you know what I mean?
Well,
It's
they
split
always
second
called
because it's
Task Force
probably
X. They're always called
yeah,
Task
but
Force X.
that probably was why the movie didn't do well in the movie theaters the second time around because people are a little bit sensitive. If you'd have branded it as something else, it probably would have done much better. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
I would have sandbagged that movie to maybe what after like I would have said sandbagged to November, because you had a little gap there where there really wasn't anything that
Mm.
was focus centered. Um, I just think that they need to like moving forward, they need to really, really, really bring in more characters. I want to learn more about the villains. Do what you got to
Okay.
do to bring the villains in. The villain. What about what D? What have I been saying for the last 7 years?
The
I've been telling
villains.
you what
The villains are the
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 villains.
story in DC.
The villains are the story, dude. The
You
villains
say
are the
it. You're very consistent with that message. Yeah, that
villains are
definitely.
the story.
Yeah, I want to see if Waller is able to kind of. I don't know if they're gonna disavow everything. Like, she's just talking out of her butt.
They're
She don't
doing
know what she's
that.
talking about. I don't know if they're gonna do the disavow route. Are they gonna send some people after him? Like, okay, you want to play? Let's send some guys after her. Is she gonna kill her own daughter? Is
Well,
she gonna
it would
try
be
to
real
bring her
interesting.
daughter in? What's that?
But it would be interesting if she brought in like Count Vertigo. He can come in there and mess with people's minds, you know what I'm saying? And make them forget. Like
Maybe.
it's interesting to see because they have such a plethora of
Right.
a rogue gallery of villains that are most of their villains are they're not dumb criminals. They're thinkers, right? You
Mm-hmm.
got some with some brute strength, but the most of them are they have to outthink the person, right? Because they got Batman who can do anything. But like
Right.
they're very they're very very villain centered and their villains are great and their superheroes are great too, man. I wish you guys would go out and learn more about DC is, man, they are an
They're the
awesome
gold standard.
legacy,
We've
right?
always said it. They are the gold standard.
Always,
All right.
always. No knock against Marvel is we need Marvel, we love Marvel's great, but the
Yeah.
world's a better place when DC and Superman are on top.
All right. So next, more DCEU cameos. Are you expecting to see other characters? You just kind of said it. Let's bring in some more villains. But is there anybody else that's in the DCEU that's kind of in that loosely connected universe that you would like to see get dragged into Peacemaker?
I would love to see Clayface.
No, no,
I
no,
would
no,
love
no,
to see if they give
no,
me
no,
a
no.
big play.
DCEU. So established characters that have already showed up in the universe, in the
Established?
movies.
Oh man, established.
The ones that they've established in the films, like so, like Harley Quinn, for instance. Would you like to see Harley Quinn make an appearance? No, okay. What about Bloodsport?
Bloodsport, yeah.
Okay, I think they may go there. And then of course, people keeps talking about the Enchantress from the first Suicide Squad. now,
Next, you'll
now
be
consider.
bringing in the fire god. What's his name?
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Oh,
whoa! Just consider that the Peacemaker did kill Rick Flag.
El Diablo. Mm.
No, no, no. I'm saying the Peacemaker killed Rick Flag, right? And remember, in the first Suicide Squad, Rick Flag, right, and the Enchantress, they had that little relationship. So is that something that James Gunn wants to touch on? I don't think he's going to touch on that either. But it's interesting. I'm wondering what other DC
There's
EU.
nobody I want to see.
Nobody.
Sorry, this segment. I'm just not in tune to this
All right.
segment.
All right.
I don't want them to,
You don't want them to mess that up. Okay. What about a new opening theme? Are we going to get a different one, like a different dance crew?
Oh, probably. No, probably, definitely.
I mean, they already got Mern.
Most
Mern is out of
likely.
here, right? They got to bring somebody to replace Mern. They got to bring somebody to replace the what's her name that changed it to the butterfly and then the other cop. So yeah, so they got some people to replace, but yeah, the one that ended up playing golf. But I want to see if they can do anything interesting, a different song, maybe a different dance routine, or something just completely different altogether. You don't have to do another dance routine. You can just, hey, let's go ahead and keep, reinventing this whole opening credits thing. I think that would be pretty cool. All right, well, that's it. Folks, what are you expecting from Peacemaker Season 2? That's my list. That's the kind of stuff that I'm interested in. Are you interested in seeing more DCEU cameos? T's not. He doesn't want to see any of that. But, or is there going to be a new opening theme song? How do you think this thing is going to play out? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, T, let's move on to the third topic.